Hi everybody, welcome to Democracy 3! Jesus Christ, this game! I downloaded this yesterday. This was off of Reddit. I didn't actually download it from Reddit. Sorry, I'll explain myself a little bit better. There is an active thread every single month on /r/sips on Reddit where people can tell me what kind of games they like or what games they'd like to see me play or at least try and make videos of. Democracy 3 was one of those. A lot of people seem to want to see me play this game. I'd never even heard of it before I read about it on Reddit. So I thank you for turning me on to this game. It's actually very good. It's a little bit boring though. It's not that it's boring. It's just not super exciting. There's no like animated cutscenes. There are guns if you like, in a sense, but you don't actually get to shoot anybody or whatever. We're going to control a country. We're going to make policies for governing that country and scrap some of the old crappier policies and generally try not to flush our country down the toilet. Or in my case, we probably will end up flushing the country directly down the toilet. But we'll see. Anyway, we're going to do a term of this. We're going to do one full term of this. We'll see if I get re-elected at the end of it. If I do well, I should get re-elected without any problems. If I do very badly, I'll probably get lynched and killed. So fine. Democracy 3, new game. We're going to do it. Look at all these cool countries we can be. We can be Great Britain, we can be France, we can be Germany, we can be the US of A, we can be Australia if we want to, and of course, my home country, Canada. Look, the Big Mac index is $4.63. Maple syrup consumption, kind of racist actually. Same with the moose population. I'm sure there's more moose in Canada than this estimate. And also notice that they've just completely neglected to mention how many people live in igloos, how many people have pet polar bears. All very important statistics in Canada. How many people own a toque? I would say pretty much everybody owns a toque. And if you want to go for the double, you can wear a toque and earmuffs for ultimate warmth for your ears during the winter season, which where I'm from lasts about 8 months of the year. So there you go. Predominantly a Christian country at 70.3% of people believing in Christianity. A couple of different ethnicities. It looks like we got 28% British, 23% French, and then a further 26% mixed. Poverty is 9.4%. That's pretty huge, actually, considering the population of the country is only 33.4 million as of 2011. I think it's like 35 million now. It's not a very populated country. And for the actual size of it, it means that lots of parts of Canada are just completely uninhabited. There's lots of lakes. Of course, people cannot live under lakes or even on lakes unless you want to have some sort of strange floating house on a lake, or you just want to live on a rowboat. That's fine too. I don't think they'll deliver mail there though. That's the only thing. Life expectancy is 81.57 years. If I live till 81, I'll be pretty happy. At the rate I'm going, I'll be lucky to see 40. And of course, the GDP per capita is 41,500 big ones. That's pretty good. So I think we're going to play Canada. I've played this a couple of times previously because it's not the kind of game you want to get into and not know what you're doing. That being said, I still don't really know what I'm doing, although I do understand some of the basics of the game. So there's still going to be lots of opportunities for me to royally balls this up. So there we go. Canada became a self-governing dominion in 1867 while retaining ties to the British Crown. It's a Commonwealth country, so it still does retain ties to the British Crown. The government is a parliamentary democracy and a constitutional monarchy with Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. The country is officially bilingual and multicultural. The economy is one of the largest in the world, somehow, relying primarily on its rich natural resources. See wheat, also lumber, probably the two biggest exports of Canada. And it is also a member of the G8, NATO, the Commonwealth of Nations, and the UN. Holy shit, what a place to be. I mean, seriously, if I haven't sold Canada to you by now, and you're not all packing your bags, getting ready to move there, I have failed. I have failed as a human being. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to play. What kind of party do we want? Player's party name. Now this is very important. We can pick one here, and there's a whole bunch of cool parties. Like, look at this, the Justice Party. Of course, this party is made up of superheroes, and the Prime Minister, of course, is Batman. It's got to be. The Freedom Party, of course, also headed up by superheroes. And then the Green Party is just the Incredible Hulk on his own. That's all he needs. He gets so angry that the policies just pass. That's it. That's all he's got to do. We got the Independence Party, the Reform Party, the Democratic Union. And if we don't like the names of any of those, we can make our own party name. God, this is always a tough one. It's always very hard, I find, personally, to come up with a name for your political party. So I'm going to have to settle on the Coalition of Dingus. Dungies. Dinguses. Is that... Can dinguses be plural? They can now. There we go. It's a coalition of dinguses. I think that's probably fine. Who do we want the opposition to be? Well, if we're going to be a coalition of dinguses, look at this, the Socialist Coalition. That's kind of cool. There's a Liberal Coalition as well. I think our opposition party should just be Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus acting by himself as a political party and an evil supervillain as well. We're up against the meanest and the baddest in this one. Our coalition of dinguses is going to have to be extra vigilant. It's going to have to really get on top of crime straight away, because Dr. Octopus isn't someone you want to trifle with, that's for sure. Dr. Octopus is quite the badass, and I'm expecting organized crime to be a very big problem in our fair nation of Canada when we start this. We can have hurricanes, earthquakes, compulsory voting. We can leave that off. Monarchy, sure. I don't even know what these do. I'm assuming hurricanes and earthquakes cause a hurricane and an earthquake occasionally to happen. It's never happened to me before. Compulsory voting. We don't want to force people to vote. In actual fact, it'll be quite funny to see how many people decide to vote based on my shitty policy-making decisions. Because I'm sure that we're going to just end up with a population of apathetic bastards who just... They don't care about politics. They don't want to vote. As long as I'm giving them like food stamps and all that other cool stuff, they probably don't really care much. And let's leave these sliders all as they are. Look, 100% difficulty, innate socialism 100%, political apathy 41%, fine, and innate liberalism 100%. Perfect. All right, here we go. Apparently we're gerrymandering constituencies and also inventing the internet. It didn't take very long to do. The internet is now invented, and we've successfully gerrymandered all of the constituencies. All I got to do is click on this old guy's back here, and that's going to take me to the government. Oh, congratulations on your election victory. We did it. Welcome to your new job as Prime Minister. Thank you very much, the Coalition of Dinguses. The lives of all 33.4 million citizens are now in your hands. As you will imagine, there are a number of situations and concerns that you will need to deal with as soon as possible, while keeping an eye on the long-term improvement of our citizens' quality of life. Plus, do not forget that you face re-election in 5 years, so you'll need to monitor the opinion polls and our party membership. Good luck. Great. So, our GDP, not doing too good. Health, also not doing too good. Education seems in pretty good shape. Unemployment, it can go either way. Crime is like a massive problem, as we thought it would be, potentially. And poverty doesn't seem to be... Well, it is becoming a problem, and we don't really want it to get much worse than it already is. So there we go. We're ready to begin our term of office. Good grief. Now, this is the game. It's a little bit complicated, and the first time you see this screen, you might just think, holy shit, what do I do? Why are there so many buttons that I need to press and stuff? Don't worry. You don't have to press any buttons. There's no timer. You can take your time and really make some fantastic decisions. It's turn-based, so don't worry. There's no timer or anything. You make all of your decisions. These are basically your political points that you can use in this turn. So I've got 26 fists, so I can do some extreme fisting this turn if I want to. You need these political points up here to be able to do stuff. So if you want to create a policy, you'll need to spend some of these. If you want to alter any existing policies, you'll need to spend some of these as well. Also, if you want to reshuffle your cabinet, like say you want to fire a minister because they no longer take you out for lunch or something like that. I mean, I would definitely personally fire somebody if they were in my cabinet and they didn't at least take me out for lunch once a week. That's going to cost you some political capital or political points as well. Not as many as like doing policies or changing policies and stuff, but there you go. Okay. Our income is 83.63 billion and our expenditure is 85.36 billion, leaving us in a deficit of 1.74 billion. Our deficit adds on to our debt every turn, and as far as I know, there's no way of actually making money in government. I mean, especially in this game, I've never been able to make money. I don't think you can. I think you just have to spend a ton of money and just go into massive amounts of debt and make everybody really miserable and unhappy. There's a whole bunch of icons over here, which I'll explain when we get to them. And then basically, we have all of these different sort of parts of society. So you have like the socialists, you've got commuters, you've got your liberals, self-employed, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Like the poor, there's farmers, youth, and then at the bottom here is our popularity. So it's in the red right now, not overly popular. You can click on any of these to drill down into and get more information on. So as you can see, voting intentions, current values 19.55%. We're not very popular. We're below 50% at the election, and it indicates that we're probably going to fail and that will end the game. But we've got 5 years to improve that. So every time we spend a turn, it goes forward by 3 months. See, so each turn takes 3 months. This bar shows progress towards the next election, which is in 20 turns basically. So we got 20 turns to turn it all around, become popular, and make people re-elect us once again. Of course, it becomes increasingly difficult as we put policies in. Some policies in the short term are very good and we'll see results straight away. Other policies are very slow burners, and we might not start seeing the benefits of these policies until we're close to the end of our term or whatever. It is possible. And then of course there's always middle ground for that too. There's always going to be some sort of middle ground where some will just sort of mature. Does a policy mature? Is that like a thing? I don't even know. Okay, fine. So these icons now, see, we've got like all these quadrants, and they sort of say at the back like a billion times. See, this one is the transport quadrant. I don't know if you can see like the writing back here. It's like a little bit gray on gray, but you can still pretty much see it. Transport. We've got law and order here, not to be confused with the TV show. I would love it so much if you just like hovered over this and it went like the music from Law and Order. Have they changed it? I mean, that's what it was like in the 80s, which is basically the last time I watched that show. Public services here. We've got tax. Tax is like the only place that we would ever potentially make any money in our government. It's probably not going to happen, like I said. Economy, the overall economy. We've got welfare here and foreign policy. Of course, there's a tank icon here as well, which indicates that our foreign policy maybe isn't the best. I think that's actually for military spending. And if you hover over any of these buttons for long enough, it'll show you that. So, military spending. Probably a good time to actually explain what these buttons are now. These blue ones are just stats, so you can't change any of these. So like if I hover over the oil price here, for instance, and I click the oil price, it'll actually just show me the value over time of the oil price. So these stats are affected by policies, other stats, and issues. So these red ones here are issues, and these ones will affect different things as they come up, and they'll be caused by certain policies going in and policies being in over time, which may lead to some discontent. The flip side of these red ones are green ones, which are actually good, and the same way that you get a red issue or like a bad issue, you can get a good issue as well. Like for instance, if I put in a policy that said we want to train everybody to be like really proficient in computers or something, eventually our country could just like get like a green issue that comes up which says, your workforce is like super skilled in computers and stuff, and you have some competitive edge over other countries or whatever, and that's a good thing for the economy. These red ones are generally bad things for the economy, and as you can see, if I mouse over this rail strike, for instance, we see like the little red lines that are moving to and from. So labor laws is having a negative effect on a rail strike at the moment. If you can see like labor laws, which is down here. Now, to me, the first time I saw this, I saw the red line going into rail strike, and I took that as it was contributing towards the rail strike because the issue is red. The line going to it is red, and I thought, okay, so these labor laws means that they're potentially helping cause the rail strike, but that's not the case. The red line going to the rail strike means that labor laws are actually bringing down the rail strike. So there's nothing actually contributing to the rail strike apart from poor earnings. So this poor earnings here, we can see the little green line is going up to the rail strike, is being caused by just a billion other fucking things. But poor earnings is not something that we need to really worry too much about, because poor earnings are the actual earnings of the poor. So it's a good thing. It's not saying that the poor are earning poor earnings. They are earning poor earnings, if you know what I mean. But you want to help poor earnings. You want to boost that up so that they earn a little bit more, and then the poor people are a little bit happier. So ultimately, we want to try to get rid of all of this crap, all of these red issues here. We want to try to get rid of these red issues and replace them with green issues, or just not have any issues. Now, over the course of our term, our 5-year term, other issues will come up. These are just the ones that we start with. So I find so far the best thing to do is to try to get rid of them because, like, again, you look at the rail strike, that's shitting all over our GDP right now. Look, it's having a negative effect on a GDP. And basically, you want to always positively influence something like your GDP because that's very good for your economy as a whole. It's very good for your country, and it's very good for like the rest of the world as well, and people be very happy. Like this issue here, alcohol abuse. Look at this. Look at alcohol consumption. Apparently poverty and unemployment contribute to this quite happily. So if you're unemployed, you're probably abusing alcohol according to this game. I don't know if that's the case. It's probably a massive generalization, but that's just the way that it's been modeled. Okay, so don't be offended if you're unemployed and you hear me saying that you're abusing alcohol in a major way. I'm not being specific to you. I'm not attacking you personally. It's a game. There's nothing I can do about it, okay? Well, I mean, we could try to get rid of the alcohol abuse, and then I'll never have to talk to it again. That might be a very good thing. We also have public hangings, or, well, the icon would indicate that that's some sort of glee over the fact that maybe a public hanging is about to take place, but no, it's actually vigilante mobs. And we can see that crime contributes to that quite heavily. And that's sort of indicated by the speed at which those little green balls are entering vigilante mobs. Look at how fast. Holy shit. Now, crime is something that we definitely want to bring down. So we can see the negative influences on crime are, for instance, armed police, CCTV cameras, wiretapping. It doesn't actually look like wiretapping. I mean, this icon actually looks like the man is wearing some sort of bandage over his head because a gigantic telephone fell from the sky, possibly, or was thrown at him and concussed him sometimes. Now he has a big concussion and he's no longer able to do the wiretapping. Wiretapping is supposed to have some sort of effect on organized crime, but it's likely that our funding in wiretapping isn't strong enough to actually impact organized crime. So you're getting like a general sense of what we're going to be trying to do here in this 5-year term. We're going to be trying to get rid of these red balls. We're going to try to prop up the positive stats that we need, such things as like GDP. I mean, tourism is another one that we're going to want to prop up so that we can make a little bit of money. Currency strength is another very good one. And we're going to be trying to balance out all of these sort of areas of society as well. So like religious right now, the religious faction of this country hates me. Because for various reasons, there's all these policies like the abortion law policy, which is negatively influencing them. And it looks like we've also legalized prostitution, which you know, at face value sounds fantastic, but it does obviously have some repercussions, and gambling, of course, too, is like a big no-no for the religious society. Environmentalists, the wealthy, middle incomes, conservatives seem to hate us as well. They don't like people being happy over public hangings. They also fairly against legalized prostitution. Narcotics, we've somehow decided to legalize some narcotics, which is leading to them being fairly unhappy. Abortion law too, and inheritance tax. Of course, the conservatives hate any sort of form of tax, so inheritance tax is slowly chipping away at them and their souls, their conservative souls, and they're not too happy. Okay. That's an overview of the game. I'm sorry that it's taken so long to give you an overview of the game. It is a very complex game. This is our starting term. This is what we're working with. This is what we've started with. We have a couple of issues that we need to iron out, such as a rail strike, vigilante mobs, organized crime, alcohol abuse. It looks like we have some sort of like asthma epidemic. Jesus Christ, that's going to be a pretty tough one to get rid of. Also, homelessness. It's not funny. Homelessness is not funny. I'm just laughing because it's going to be very hard to eradicate homelessness in this country. Also, uncompetitive economy, and I think this one is pollution. There's a lot of pollution apparently. So we've definitely got our work cut out for us, but now that we know or have some sort of general idea about how to balance out all of these balls and stuff, we'll be back. We'll be back next time for the next episode where we will actually advance the term, we'll make some policy changes and stuff, and we'll see how we do, and hopefully we will bring Canada up out of the dark ages, make it into a really amazing country, and not flush it down the toilet with all of our bad policies and decisions and stuff like that. Okay, great. Well, as usual, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. It'll be out soon, and like I said, we'll do a whole bunch of new stuff, and we'll try to get this this boat running, a running boat. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. See you next time.